I'm going to open up to you guys about like the insidious evil influence that's like always looming over me as a streamer, and how much self-control it unironically takes to fight it. Okay? Something that I've noticed in my time as a YouTuber slash streamer, and way before that, as like just a random Zoomer who like to watch content creators that make content like this, or even just, YouTubers in general, all the way back to, my childhood. Something I noticed overwhelmingly was it feels like over and over and over again, whether it be mainstream Hollywood celebrities, reality show type celebrities, or your internet celebrities on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, or YouTube, overwhelmingly, 100% of the time, it always feels like those that reach the top, that always end up seeing the most success, are those that are most willing to sacrifice all of their moral hang-ups to do so. Reaching online success, if the opportunities are in front of you, is not as hard as people think it is. It's either harder than you think it is, or it's easier than you think it is. Never in between. No one ever has an accurate prediction of how well they're going to do online. It's mostly luck. False. The part of it that is luck is the opportunity. Having the opportunity to become a YouTuber or a streamer is luck. Growing up being born into a household where you grow up with access to computers and technology, and you end up having just the right upbringing to have the right personality and the right just mindset to be a streamer or a content creator. These are all luck-based things. Your circumstances, sure, you can work yourself into better circumstances, but most part for most streamers and YouTubers, that was luck. However, while there is luck playing a large part into the algorithm game, it is not just luck. When people say it's just luck, they're covering up what they actually did to reach the level of success they've reached. Nobody on these platforms who's massive and extremely popular has done it 1,000,000,000% with their hands clean. I'm talking like PewDiePie level success, or like Markiplier level success. I don't know, PewDiePie, Markiplier, Jacksepticeye, they are not as clean and squeaky as they make themselves out to be. There's just no way. The amount of opportunities that you get to sacrifice your principles in exchange for profit and popularity, that the sheer amount of times I've gotten those opportunities and just turned them down because it left a bad taste in my mouth, or because I had shame. Big money-making opportunities. Tens of thousands of dollars in sponsorships, chat. I've been living paycheck to paycheck for the last 2 years because I was being robbed by my girlfriend without my knowledge. Every dollar that I made over the threshold of what I needed to make for us to get the bills paid was being siphoned off by my girlfriend, and I was living in constant stress for the last 2 years straight. Every stream a desperate vie to make enough money to make ends meet. And despite that, I was turning down tens of thousands of dollars in sponsorship offers for anything from scam gotcha games to mobile games and shit like that, to products that are like obvious scams. The only fucking sponsorship I've ever taken was for the coldest water bottle. And that was a 3-month-long sponsorship that happened back in 2020. And I still use the bottle. And they did not prompt me on what I had to say about the bottle. The only reason I took the sponsorship was because they said, all you have to do is mention the bottle. Which meant if I didn't like it, I was going to shit on it on stream, and that was going to be how I mentioned it. Those were the only requirements for the sponsorship, was to show the bottle and talk about it once every 3 videos. So if I didn't like it, I was going to shit on the bottle, but I liked it, and it was good. So I actually shilled for it sincerely and said, you guys should buy them. Dozens of other sponsorship opportunities were right there on my fucking desk, waiting for me. Tens of thousands of dollars of extra money I could have taken, only it would have been, in my opinion, immoral. That is not the only example. I would be a lot further on in where I am today if I was more shameless. Double uploading alone was something I just saw as, this just too shameless to dip down to stoop down to until recently. It wasn't until recently that my editor, who's now full time, convinced me that we should do double uploads and just spam uploads as much as possible. Go full, just do what the algorithm wants. Dump content, as many stream segments, as many topics, as many segments as possible onto YouTube as often as possible at a good regular schedule. That's what YouTube likes. And even that was just doing YouTube right was something my editor had to convince me to do. Now, I'm not saying this to like say, oh, look what a good person I am or anything. I know that has like it looks that way. It does. There's no denying that. What I'm trying to point out here is that viewers are very bad at recognizing the mindset of the streamers and the content creators and the influencer. The viewers tend to have a very warped perspective of the mindset of the influencer they watch. Whether it be their goals, how they make their money, how much money they make. That's a big one. Notice how I'm always really transparent about my income. Like, unlike a lot of other content creators, regardless of how much I'm making, whether it's like an embarrassingly low amount or like a potentially, maybe I don't make as much now because I made, maybe I have a good month and now I'm risking not making as much the next month if I tell people I had a good month. Despite that, I still make my income pretty damn public and let you guys know how much I'm making and even show how much I'm making each stream on screen so you guys can tell how much I'm making and what my financial situation is. So none of you guys can be under the impression that I'm like, struggling to get by when I'm not. Like, these are just things that other content creators don't do that I like to do because I grew up watching content creators and I know what it's like to be a viewer and one, be totally out of the loop on the reality of what's going on in the influencer you like's lives. Two, I know like the kind of shit that now because of experience that YouTubers and streamers and these influencers are offered and the types of shameless things they'll do to get ahead and that they've had to do to get ahead, no doubt. And three, frankly, because I want you guys to know. You guys need to know how to spot insidious behavior on the part of content creators. Internet historian, we might be looking at you. Internet historian's a chud. As for his sponsorships, the guy doesn't like care, and I don't think his viewership cares. I think he's just doing the sponsor to make money, and none of his audience cares. The issue is I kind of do hold myself and other content creators to a bit of a standard that I'd be a hypocrite if I didn't hold myself to the same standard, And a lot of it is that as well. You know what? I hold other content creators to a pretty damn high standard on this show. My show is pretty much an 80% shitting on other content creators for not being good enough by my standards. Wouldn't I be kind of a shitty hypocrite, if I like stooped equally low, or if I wasn't if I wasn't transparent, or if I didn't, I'd be a fucking hypocrite. Nordman is very original and novel idea. How dare you? I use NordVPN, but I'm not sponsored by them. Like, I unironically am using NordVPN right now as we speak. It says I'm in Canada, but I'm not in Canada, but I'm not sponsored by them. I actually used, whose promo code did I end up using? I think it was Big Money Salvia's. I used Internet Comment Etiquette's promo code for NordVPN. Big money. Anyway, listen. That aside, you guys as content as content consumers are getting a very filtered, very purposefully manipulated version of anything that you see. Here, if you want a good idea of how much a content creator warps the perspective of what you're seeing, watch. Here's a non-political example. I know this seems really, really weird and like really, really strange homework to give you, but Eddie Burback and Ted Nivision did a road trip together that they both vlogged in which they visited every rainforest cafe in the country. You've probably seen these videos. Watching both sides of the road trip on both their channels, on both their ends, is like watching the A and B runs of like Resident Evil 2. It's like hearing their takes, their opinions, their perspective, and their side of things. It's just a totally different story. Seeing this road trip completely from the lens of one YouTuber and then completely from the lens of another YouTuber, two YouTubers that took the same road trip together, then seeing how they framed it to their audiences just from their own biases, there's nothing wrong with it. I'm not calling anything out in these videos. This is just a very small, harmless, apolitical, non-controversial example of how the content creator that you're watching heavily shapes how a line of events could look. Because the story we got from Eddie Burback was kind of a little different from the story we got from Tednavision, wasn't it? Not super different, but like kind of different in some ways. Enough so that like it's worth considering whether or not the perspective you're getting from any content creator you watch, me, Vosh, ContraPoints, conservative content creators, John Oliver, mainstream news celebrities, whatever, whether or not what they're saying or what they're iterating to you is being heavily manipulated or at the very least influenced by their personal biases, or even if they have a agenda, which could either be as simple as pushing a political narrative or just making money. It could just be as simple as making money. Anyway, that's what I want to talk about. I know it seems like a weird rant, but like basically the moral of the story is do not ever 100% trust YouTubers or streamers, not even me. Never 100% trust me. Trust me like 99.99%, but never 100%, okay? No matter what. No matter how trustworthy any content creator seems, never trust them 100% because at the end of the day, they are putting their best foot forward to the internet. And that best foot isn't their true self 100%. Without 100% knowledge of what someone is really like, you can't really know them. So what I ask of you is that in the future, when you watch content creators, no matter what, just know that you're a viewer and they're the content creator and they are filtering content to you, and what you're seeing isn't necessarily 100% accurate to what happened. Xander Hall discovers perspective and framing. Wait, I'm sorry, broke point. I discover perspective and framing. I'm sorry, no. I'm teaching perspective and framing to my audience because unfortunately, if you look at the fucking internet these days, the existence of people like Andrew Tate or Jake Paul or like J Station or any or Rice Gum or any douche tuber type, any content or Jake Paul or the Paul brothers or anything or KSI, anyone like that, the existence of douchebag content creators like that speaks to the fact that there is an epidemic of content consumers that do not understand perspective and framing. So do not call me out like this is some forehead shit here. Like I'm not like making a brave statement here on the internet when this absolutely fucking is a brave statement on the internet. All right. People protect their favorite content creators like they are infallible fucking gods. The stan culture is real, and the deification of content creators is not only bad for the fans of those content creators that get taken advantage of, but it's bad for the content creators. When these content creators get held up to a pedestal, held up to a standard that's not possible to reach, when they make a tiny little, human mistake online, they get fucking canceled over it. 99% of cancellations online are over simple human mistakes that you would expect anyone to make. But these content creators like Dream, for example, are deified by their audience so much that if Dream makes so much as a tiny mistake, a tiny human mistake, God has made a mistake. It's time for fucking Twitter to melt down. I'm sorry. Stan culture alone speaks to the need for this conversation to happen. Do not make fun of me broke point. This conversation needed to happen. Any truers in chat? Anyone else agree? One of my favorite video game lines is no one will ever live up to his legacy, not even him. Damn. That's fucking deep. What did KSI do? KSI is a douche tuber, okay? He just is, all right? Like even if KSI is not, like, as in the grand scheme of things, an asshole, just the type of content that he makes, he's a douche tuber. He's a douche tuber, you know? There's a type of YouTuber that's just, you know, a douche tuber. And that's kind of what KSI is. Same goes for, like, Jake Paul and Logan Paul. They're douche tubers. Their like content is that they're rich douchebags who are famous that you know, flex a lot, you know? Although I guess KSI, you know, yeah, actually no, KSI actually has talent. Never mind. KSI, I think, actually has talent. Like, isn't he a pretty good boxer? And didn't he rap as well? I remember there was a time when diss tracks were, like, the thing on YouTube. Weren't his diss tracks, like, actually kind of good? Let me know if I'm wrong here. It's literally been years, but weren't KSI's diss tracks, like, not bad? Like, they were kind of fire. KSI absolutely was on that diss track bag. Yeah, I remember KSI... His diss tracks were kind of fire. Like, no, like, not gonna lie. Okay, you know what? KSI is a douche tuber, but he's actually talented. He's actually talented. So I'll put that aside. I'm talking about, like, the content creators whose literal only claim to fame is being young, famous teenagers. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about. Those figures are, I feel like, the most perfect distillations of this problem, you know, in total. TikTok is just filled with these types, you know? Random teenagers who just got famous dancing to random licensed music on TikTok. And then moved to LA into a house of a bunch of people and made a big hype house type thing, a content house. And then, oh, geez. Leon Lush did a really good video as well on hype houses and why they, or content houses and why they fail. And that video has guided a lot of my goals on making the perfect content house. One that would not fail. Because it wouldn't be a content house. Not technically. Or streamers. Or streamers. I mean, we've covered the streamer drama. You've seen what happens. Anyway. I'm glad I was able to get that off my chest. It was a good segment, a good little Zan chat therapy segment. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, consider leaving a like, subscribe if you want to see more from me, and ring the bell icon so YouTube actually tells you when I go live or upload a new video. They just won't do that otherwise. And of course, if you want to support my channel and make sure that my videos don't get raided by conservatives, you can comment something down below, like, I don't know, comment trans rights down below. How about that? People love commenting trans rights. It's completely unrelated, and the YouTube algorithm will no doubt be very confused by it, but comment it anyway, because it's funny. But yeah, of course, if you want to support me financially, you can always do so by donating, subscribing, or gifting a sub on my website, xanderhall.com/live, or you can support me financially through YouTube, Twitch, Streamlabs, Stream Elements, or Patreon. Links down below, of course. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. You are based. And have a good one.